Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome back to the Facerocker Podcast, the official RocketJump Podcast. I'm your host, Benji Dolly, and for today's episode, yeah, you guessed it, we're going to talk about horror flicks. It's Halloween, so I don't know what else on earth we would possibly talk about today. I've got Joey Scoma and Cherish Chen from the RocketJump Film School here, fresh off of an entire month of horror-themed programming. If you haven't had a chance yet, head over there and check it out. We think you guys will really dig it. They've got some awesome videos. They teach you blood recipes. They have their own horror short. They've got their new show, Masterclass, where they sit down with famed horror director Tom Holland and talk about his process and all of his career. He directed things like Fright Night and Child's Play. Anyways, it's all great stuff like usual from the film school, but we hope you head over there and check it out and enjoy it. In the meantime, today's episode, we talk about the movies that scared us as kids, the movies that scare us today, the movies that are going to scare us tomorrow, our favorite kills, our favorite deaths, our favorite fears, or our least favorite fears, if you will. Anyways, it's a really great conversation. We think you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully you enjoy your Halloween. We hope you all stay safe out there, and we hope you enjoy your candy. We'll see you next time. I'm just going to hold it. Screw it.
Yeah.
Hold it. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Welcome back to another Facerocker Podcast, the official Rocket Jump podcast. We have Joey Scoma here, Cherish Chen, the champions, producers, teachers, actors, editors, writers, everything for the RocketJump Film School.
Minus Lauren, but she's on a flight.
She's not here, exactly.
Yeah.
She's busy. You guys are always busy. You actually, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
Absolutely.
With
Of
me.
course.
I say us because there's supposed to be an us, but there is no us.
It's us.
Freddie and Matt are knee-deep in finishing up RocketJump the show
Knee-deep.
right now. They are busy. They are locked down. They don't have any time to get anything else done. I'm trying to get this done right now while John Carmen is also shooting an upcoming This Week at RocketJump. You guys, let's talk about what the film school just came out with really quickly.
Crazy. Okay.
New show, Masterclass, finished it up this week. It's awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't checked it out yet, check out Masterclass on the RocketJump Film School. Joey, I just got to ask you, how much fun was that to sit down with Mr. Tom Holland?
Well, I met him in Chicago during the Bruce Campbell.
Because you set it up, right? Because you met him personally,
I
right?
met him,
you guys
and we just hit it off. He's like the nicest, most kindest, like interested in what's going on, man. Mm-hmm. But I'm fascinated with like his story. It's like he wants to learn so much from us about Dude Bro and all this stuff that's going on in 5-second films. Like, what is that? How do you tell a story in 5 seconds? And I'm like, no. You made Child's Play. You made Fright Night. You tell me everything. How did you do this? How did you do that? So we hit it off right away, and this was like a giant what if to Lauren and Cherish back in like September. It's like, I just met Tom Holland. We got October coming up. Like, he's in the neighborhood. Let's try and get him to come and talk. Yeah. And I'm glad that everything worked out and that Masterclass was a success and people appreciate it. And we got to pick Tom Holland's brain in front of the world.
I feel like it happened really quickly, too.
It did.
Like, Joey brought it up. We just emailed his, I guess not handler, but like, you know, his
people.
His
people.
person.
Yeah, he's got a people.
You gotta have people.
You got to have the people talk to his people.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, let's do it. And then just within 2 weeks, he was here, you know?
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really, we lucked out. Timing was just perfect.
Yeah, it was definitely a sweet. And I was actually kind of talking with Cherish about it earlier. Like, it was so cool how he was talking about the trilogy of terror and how that gave him the idea and the motivation to do Child's Play. And I just thought that was so cool because that trilogy of terror, I know at least, being Dolly's brother, you know, we grew up together. That's the same thing that got him hooked.
Right.
And I remember we were always watching that on Monster Vision. USA would always play a trilogy of terror, and we would always watch that. And I can guarantee that's one of the things that sparked his interest, at least in horror in this genre and filmmaking in itself. And it's so cool that it's two different generations, the same thing,
influence.
And it was just, I was just sitting there watching, and I was like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
That's so rad.
Well, you have that story. Cherish and I share that story. We've all seen Trilogy of Terror at such a young freaking age.
Yeah.
that you have nightmares and that little doll is scary, and then you see Child's Play, and it's still scary.
Yeah, and that's a good segue, like, because it's October. We haven't yet had a chance to really dive. We were supposed to do it with Freddie, Matt, and John last time, but they just decided to bully poor John Carmen instead of even talk anything about the movies we were talking about.
Sure.
Me and Cherish kind of got into a little bit earlier, but like specifically horror really leaves its imprint on you when you're a kid. Like, I'm still waiting to catch something now. Like, I would say, like, in recent memory, the scariest thing I've watched now, like, I consider myself an adult. The rest of the world wouldn't, but I guess I kind of do. Like Contagion.
Hopefully nothing.
My arm.
Oh, wait, come here. Sit down. Watch your feet. Come on. Come on, man. Okay, what happened? Did you take too much of that blue? Hey, honey? Oh, Beth. Hey. No. Stay there, Clark. Don't. Just go up to your room, honey. Honey.
I would put, like, that movie terrified me. It's not per se what you'd imagine to be a horror story, but for me and the way I operate nowadays, like, nothing has really scared me, but that movie terrified me. But, like, as a kid, what would be, like, 1 or 2 or 3 movies that just always stuck with you, or a specific scene, something that always hit you, that always stuck with you, that you either enjoyed or just always freaked you out and it just always left?
Well, if we're going like horror movies that aren't horror movies but that do scare you when you're a kid, I have to say The Client. I haven't said The Client ever.
That's a weird one.
On a podcast, but it's not horror.
Right.
But it's again, it's the same theme of what we talked about, the primal, being a kid, and you're a kid.
People not believing you.
People not believing in you, and you against the world.
Yep.
Because everything is so big around you.
I feel
and the issues are bigger than...
That's a recurrent thing for you, though.
Thing.
Especially for you, though, because that's what freaks you out about Child's Play, too, right?
Yeah.
Why can't everyone just leave me alone? I mean, some sweaty fat guy blows his head off.
Why did you lie to the police?
I didn't.
Well, it says here in this paper that you found Jerome Clifford dead.
I did.
Uh-huh. Dead men don't sweat. Now, do they?
Well, it's a child who these awful things have happened to, and then is just a victim of circumstance. Like like in The Client, it's the mob trying to kill this kid because he's the only witness.
Yeah.
And then he's got to friggin' run for his life. Like there's like a thriller aspect to that. I forget who wrote those books.
It was Grisham, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. John Grisham's The Client. Yeah.
Man, I thought those were really
fact check that.
suspenseful. Like the scene in the boathouse when he is like, the dude is at the
Benny
door.
the Blade's in there.
Benny the Blade is at the door, and he's basically in a dead end. He has to, and he hides, like, I forget where he hides. He hides up in the boat or something like that. But man, that movie just had suspense through it, and as a kid, that sticks with you. And all my friends were watching frickin' Barney, but I was watching The Client. I thought that was more interesting.
That's cool.
Well, even if it's real stuff,
even if that stuff really scared you, you were still interested in watching it. Like that, I think that's rare for children. Because like if something really terrifies you, it's like you don't want to look at it anymore, or you don't ever want to watch it in the first place if you think it'll scare you. But you were watching stuff, and despite being scared, enjoying it.
Yes,
that's interesting.
It is. I feel like it is. I mean, not a lot of people like putting themselves in like high tension situations. Movies are like a form of escape for people, so they are trying to release that. But for me, I try and get into that. You know, I like, especially like the craft of filmmaking to make an audience feel that way. I was interested in. I was like, this movie is really affecting me, and that's what got me interested in making movies. Is like then dissecting that, and how do you then orchestrate that for an audience? Like how like that's what I feel like is the hardest thing to do, is just to figure out like what it is that gets under the skin that really resonates.
Oh, I have a horror movie a movie that scared me that was not a horror movie.
Please go.
This is like, I bet it is universal for everyone our age. Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks was a blast. I was not expecting you to say Mars Attacks.
I'm gonna be honest. I still haven't even seen it.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
That's one I got.
Wow,
that's one I
Benji,
never got on. I'm way out of the boat on that.
I think you'd be okay then, because my mom, because I just grew up with my mom, and she wouldn't hire a babysitter. She would just drag me to all the rated R movies or, scary movies. And she also was really, really into X-Files and the alien stuff.
I was too afraid to watch X-Files.
Yeah.
X-Files was terrifying.
Yeah.
There was like a little doll episode
intro
or something.
Yeah.
X-Files, like that song would scare me. If I heard
Yeah.
that song, I'd be like, I'm leaving the room.
Yeah.
I never watched that show
Yeah.
back when I was younger. 'Cause I was just predisposed from that music to not want anything to do with it. It
Yep.
was so effective.
Absolutely.
Terrified.
Yeah. As soon as I heard that theme, I was out.
Yep.
Because I knew something not good was going to happen.
Me and Cherish kind of a little bit what we were talking about it earlier. I think we were kind of fortunate being in the video store age or the generation that had video store because there were a lot of horror movies, at least for me personally, that you never actually saw, but you always saw the box.
Oh, yeah.
And your imagination would run wild for years, months.
Oh, yeah.
And like these movies would build up a mystique around them without ever having seen them. Like for me, Dead Alive was that movie.
Oh, right. It was the mouth.
Yep,
I
it
remember
was
seeing that.
Just a box.
That VHS cover of the zombie head coming out of the mouth.
Yeah.
And it had the sticker, the 18 to rent sticker. And it was like, what is that? When are we ever going to get a chance to see that? And it was always so scary before I even saw the damn thing.
And now that's a good example because that movie is such a blast that like it sort of what do you call it? It managed to exceed expectation in a different way.
In a different way. Yep. It was
other
not
than
at all.
terror.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was such a fun movie.
It was. I'll never forget and it's not even like one of the best scenes of the movie, but just for me personally, the scene when they're trying to eat the custard at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And the drip, the piece of the grandma pieces are dripping
like
into
globs
the custard.
out.
Like that scene, more than like
What's
a lawnmower
dripping?
scene
What's
or
dripping
anything.
into the
Like
custard?
her like body is
She has a
falling
bandage
apart.
on her arm
Yeah.
from when she was bitten by the monkey, and then she like scratches at the bandage, and it makes a fart noise like as it excrements like blood goo into this
and they're
other
all
person's
eating
custard.
This custard, and it's just like the sloppiest. Just everything about that scene was just disgusting and dirty.
Damn fine custard. Rich and creamy, just the way I like it.
And like it still wasn't even like the gore. Like that movie goes.
It goes
that goes
full
wild.
boat,
Like, but that custard scene always. That one got me. That movie was great.
It is super weird that he went on to direct Lord of the Rings.
It's
sometimes.
awesome.
I think
Like, it makes sense, but it's also like, that's...
I
Who
think
would've thunk?
the Frighteners did scare me as a kid. I was afraid
Yeah.
of the Frighteners.
I haven't seen that.
But that's the movie that got him Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson said in the DVD, I believe, before he introed the movie, his director's cut, he's like, okay, I had all of these computers sitting around, like hundreds of computers sitting around. And he was starting to panic in post-production. He's like, what am I going to do with all these computers for the Frighteners? So then he pitched Lord of the Rings and was showing them like the type of effects work that he was doing with like the ghosts and all the CG that was going in to the Frighteners. And he was like, I could do Lord of the Rings. Like I could make this happen.
Sure, yeah.
And so
That's
it's just
awesome.
it's such a good film to look at and study. And it's like, it's how you get from A to B.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's that middle movie that.
Well, it's also fun to see the touches of his horror core
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings too. With like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like when the orcs all kill one of their own orcs, and then like the intestines are
Yeah,
flying
they're ripped.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's just old school Peter Jackson.
Absolutely.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
At his core, you know.
Well, I think I saw Lord of the Rings before I saw Dead Alive. This was like around high
okay.
school.
Yeah.
So I was like kind of picking up on like little locations and stuff. I think in Return of the King, he has those like really narrow rock quarry type of valleys and things that Aragorn's going through. But that's like the opening sequence in Dead Alive is like this. I feel like it's the same location, and
It could be.
And it's funny because he's doing like all these like crazy zoom ins on like skulls.
Yep.
And he's doing that like type of feel and look with Dead Alive and the Frighteners, and it's really fun to
So bizarre.
see Peter Jackson. Like, and you look at Sam Raimi's career and how Darkman is very similar to Spider-Man.
Oh, God, Darkman is wild.
Darkman's a blast.
Yeah.
And I just love that these filmmakers have these roots in horror that translate onto bigger blockbuster things
like
that
different
everyone
genres.
goes and sees.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, didn't Cameron do? Wasn't Piranha 2 his first major?
James Cameron?
picture? Yeah, it wasn't.
I think so.
I
Yeah,
think
he
his
was.
first feature was Piranha 2 or something like that.
Well, didn't he directed Piranha? Didn't he?
He was all up with
Yeah,
Roger Corman for a couple
Well,
years.
we were just talking about this because on the cover subject, and I think I've told this to you before too.
Yeah.
Like when I was a little kid, my mom had all these Laserdiscs because she exported and imported movies to Taiwan, and so we had all these Laserdiscs, and like I was like a kid, you'd watch like the Power Rangers movie or whatever, and then but I remember one of the Laserdiscs was Piranha, and the cover is just that terrifying like fish face, just straight at coming at you.
Right at you.
Yeah, and I remember just like not even wanting to touch the Laserdisc at all, and you'd like sandwich it between others and just like move it without ever having to acknowledge its existence.
Piranha, like,
Weird
okay,
kid stuff.
there's some horror movies where it's like, that's real. Like, that piranhas are real.
Yeah.
Shark Jaws is real.
This week's podcast brought to you by Loot Crate. Now, over here at RocketJump, we're huge fans of everyone over at Loot Crate and what they do because they've made some awesome exclusive VGHS Loot Crates for us in the past for a couple of our crowdfunding campaigns. So you may even have one of these sitting in front of you. But if you're not familiar with what Loot Crate is, here's what it is. For under $20 a month, you get a box sent to your door of awesome licensed geek, gamer, nerd, pop culture stuff. It's everything from collectibles, apparels, licensed goods. It's fantastic. And the stuff in there is worth over $40. So like the math is a no-brainer. You're paying under $20 a month, you're getting over $40 worth of stuff every month delivered right to your door. And you can make that equation work out a little more in your favor right now if you head over to lootcrate.com and enter the promo code Facerocker. You'll get $3 off of your subscription, and you probably should do it pretty quick because you have until the 19th to get in on next month's offer. So head on over to lootcrate.com/Facerocker, enter the promo code Facerocker, and get yourself $3 off of a new subscription. It's basically like Christmas every month. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's always something awesome, and it's cool. It's always a fun surprise.
I'm trying to think of like movies that if I were to
Piranha's a little
revisit them
sillier.
now, they'd be just crap. Like
Yeah.
USA Network or like Monster Vision movies that I used to watch that used to terrify me. I don't know.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called. I think it was called Ticks.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Tick. What I remember
What
watching
is
that one
that?
all the time, and at the end of the movie, a giant tick burst out of a human's body, like.
That's disgusting.
Like a guy was like, I gotta look it up. I gotta find. 'Cause I think it was called Ticks. I'll look it up, but it was like some sort of like bioengineered ticks were let loose somehow in this like forest area. But then at the end of the movie, this guy started like feeling sick, and this giant tick exploded out of his being. And that always I was like, all right, yep, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm still scared of ticks because of it. But if I went to like watch that movie now, I'd be like, this is hilarious. But the fact that I was a kid,
Yep.
and I was like up by myself, everyone else is asleep in the house, like, and that stuck with me.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
like that.
You gotta give it. I think a testament to the truly scary stuff though is like talking about the Trilogy of Terror episode. Like that was my first time seeing it since I was a kid when we did it for the Tom Holland interview.
It was still scary.
and it's still scary.
It's still scary.
It just that sound really.
Yeah, it really it comes down to sound design. Like when I watch a movie, I try and make it scary, and if it really isn't, then I feel kind of bummed. But I'll turn off all the lights and I'll turn the volume way up.
Yeah, like don't be one of those like a-holes that goes into a haunted house being like, hey, nice mask. Like you know what you're there for.
Yeah.
Like just try, put on the glasses and
Give yourself
give
yourself
yourself a chance
yeah.
to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Put on the bloodstain colored lenses. I don't know.
I remember doing that when I was like 13 or 14 to The Shining. I was like, and I made it an event, and my
Yeah.
mom had gone to bed, and I am on the couch. The Shining's coming on TV, and it's uncut, like it was on HBO or something. And I had a blanket, and I friggin' turned up the volume, and I was like, okay, I'm doing this.
That's awesome.
Friggin' do it. And man, that first time, like Tuesday popped up, I jumped. Like I was like, yeah, because you're so into the movie, and it's like, oh no, it's a freaking word. It's a day of the week, and it scared the crap out of me.
Oh my gosh!
And so I feel like obviously we got to get in with Kevin and just talk about how important sound design is specifically for horror, because it really sets the tone. It really does. And man, it just cooks if it's like done.
Oh, yeah, it's just pulling that rubber band, just waiting for the snap.
Yeah.
Just setting it up.
Yeah.
Do you guys have your one favorite horror movie? Your one? I've got mine.
Okay, one favorite horror movie. I definitely have my favorite, like, death in a horror movie. And that's Johnny Depp in the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I just think that's one of the coolest things.
Pretty memorable.
Just those movies terrify me, even though they get so cartoony the more the series goes, but just like that's a great fear to play on, the fact that you can't go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like if you go to sleep, that's when you're unsafe. Like that's just perfect to attack. Like that was scary, but that death scene is fantastic. Just seeing the gallons and gallons of blood spraying through the mattress up on the ceiling is great. But if I had to pick a favorite movie, it would definitely have to just be the original Halloween or Halloween 2. Yeah. Just the atmosphere of those movies, like it is unsettling. The music is perfect. I love the Halloween theme. I could listen to that all day long, and it's not only as scary, but it makes me feel like I'm back at home.
Right.
Because my brother used to watch it so much when we were kids. So like when I hear that, I'm like, I feel like comfortable. I think of the first house we lived in.
It's iconic beyond belief. It's like
that makes me think of childhood when I hear Halloween or I see Halloween. So that one has to be mine.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, Joey?
Me? I mean, I go to... When I think about this, I honestly do cite just Evil Dead 2 as what wanted me to start making films. It's just my favorite. It has the most fun. It has the best blend of horror and comedy, unlike anything I've ever seen. They pull out all the tricks in like camera angles and illusions to like I love like the scene when he enters the work shed with the head on his hand and he puts it in the vise. He cranks the vise shut. They like made a friggin' fake vise to put the actress's head in when she becomes like herself again.
Quoi que fasse, j'ai l'âme de ta chère d'addiction, et elle souffre maintenant.
And then they cut to the overshot, and it's just a dummy head. And I was like really starting to figure out this stuff at a young age, of how they piece these things together to make it to make you believe what's happening is happening. And then of course, the slapstick humor in that whole movie just changed the way I thought of everything. Like chainsaw, and it's like a chalk outline of a chainsaw. Like who would own this place? And then this is where the chainsaw goes. And it's like the fact that there's a chalk, like again, it just hit on so many things. And of course the dummy coming in, and in the behind the scenes they said the operator was like, no, make it bounce like more, like make the dummy bounce, and because he wanted to look like a Muppet, you know, it wanted to look like a friggin' dummy. Like who are they kidding? You know? So like have fun with it. So
just like the construction of it all, and like
the construction of it all.
It sounds like a lot of people talk about Jurassic Park that way, because it's like, you know, the puzzle pieces of the practical and the CGI.
Yeah.
And you are citing Evil Dead as like the construction of prop to actress to different like how you manipulate what you see in the camera to work.
Well, let's be honest though. I did see Jurassic Park much younger than I saw Evil Dead.
Was that 93? Yeah, it was 93, right?
And Jurassic Park is like, all those things they just did so seamlessly that I didn't know.
Think about it.
Like I didn't even think about it. It was like, yeah. And so Evil Dead has that charm to it where it would still feel like you could get together your friends and do this, you know, whereas Jurassic Park is like, how the fuck did they do that? You know?
Yeah. I think we all have very different, like you were saying that we have all different, we all like different elements of horror movies.
Yep.
Yeah. Like my favorite horror movie is without a doubt The Thing.
Yeah.
Because
it's a good call.
Because the effects, I could watch it probably 1,000 times in a row and be fine with it, you know, like still be interested in it. And I think it's, you know, the effects are obviously amazing. It's like real artistry there. It's like just so disgusting and like that it's fake. It's like clearly like a prop or a sculpture, and it's just like the most disgusting, and how it looks alive is just like wrong. I love it. But my favorite thing about it is the psychological element, like the fact that it's not really the monster, it's like the elements of the people is what's the scariest part about it. And that's what is most interesting to me, like psychological horror.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what took me by surprise when I saw The Thing. I was like, whoa, like you really don't know. You're like, you can't trust anyone. Like I thought that was great.
And a lot of times it doesn't give you the answers either, you know, like on what happened, because the dog at the beginning just goes into a room and you don't know who the first one infected is.
Yeah.
It's so good, you know, and it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's so interesting to me. And it's like, that's what keeps me going back to that movie is the people, the monster is brilliant. It's like such a genius idea for a monster, but
the ensemble for sure.
Yeah.
Because again, like, you know, spoilers, they kill Clark and we're like, Clark was closest with that dog. Like, yeah. But he was human.
Yeah, he didn't, he was fine. His blood wasn't.
And then I was like, then I felt bad for Clark because you were for sure like, that guy's a fucking thing.
That guy's for sure.
Yeah.
He's it.
Yeah.
If anyone's the monster,
and
it's Clark.
That's some nice, like, whoa, we hold one over on you guys. Like, it's just, again, it's like not going into expectation and shit.
Yeah. And then the whole blood scene, obviously, is like, you know there's going to be a jump scare somewhere in there, and even when it happens, you're like, what? Fuck. You know, like, Jesus, when it like leaps out of the petri dish.
Sure. Yeah, you don't expect that for sure. You expect it to be coming from someone down there. You don't expect the blood to react.
And it's funny. It's a funny movie too, I think. Sometimes. It's just like
it's not so funny.
It's like a little funny when was it Childs or Windows? One of the guys, neither one of those. One of the helicopter pilots is like flipping out, becoming the monster on the sofa, and the other two guys are like tied right next to him, and they're like flipping out. That's hilarious.
I don't think so.
It's a little funny.
This is pure nonsense. Doesn't prove a thing.
I thought you'd feel that way, Gary. You were the only one that could have got to that blood. We'll do you last.
Get away from me! Retreating! What is it?
I think, okay, when you said The Thing was funny, I thought of two things. I thought of when he pours the whiskey in the computer for losing at chess.
And calls her a bitch. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, like, that's a joke. But it also helps set you up for McCready. It's like he's like this kind of guy, and you need a scene like that to just show you his whole, like, that's his whole personality wrapped up into one. So that's an important scene. But then I also thought of the scene who was it, the stoner dude who was like, I'll go out, and then they're like, no way. He's like, thanks for thinking about it, though. Like, that's kind of a joke.
No. What's definitely a joke is when the guy who runs the whole place, I forget his name, the older guy who shoots the guy in the beginning.
Oh, right.
He's like still tied to the couch and everything's settled down. He's like, well, when you like get the chance, could you please untie me from this fucking couch? Yeah.
I know you gentlemen have been through a lot. And when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch!
Yeah.
Like that's a
I think
joke.
we just listed all the jokes in
That's
that movie.
probably all the
It's
jokes.
not a very.
That is a great movie, though.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and revisit that one. It's been too long. I'm terrified of spiders. So that head spider thing.
Oh yeah.
I see. Des always wanted to be a makeup effects artist when we were kids. So my introduction to horror movie was always like he was always just trying to find or watch whatever had the most gore, whatever Savini was doing, or Rob Botton and his team, or like, and we would just watch gore fests over and over. It wasn't until a later age till I finally like actually started paying attention to like what was actually making you scared, other than just like
the effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it took me a little bit to really like understand why this stuff was scary. Like I was always just looking for an O factor or a wow, just looking at the gore.
That's
but
so interesting.
Yeah.
It was always so much fun just because our parent, lucky enough, we had parents that let us watch anything and everything.
Yeah, me too.
I ended up getting like nightmares really bad because of it. Shout out to dream catchers. They actually help.
They do?
Story. They help.
Is that a
when I was
placebo
kid.
thing, though?
I think it might have been placebo thing.
Yeah.
But like it worked. I had like really bad night terrors when I was a kid. Couldn't fix them.
Me too.
My mom
Same.
went and talked to someone and they're like, you need to just try a dream catcher with the kid. Sure enough, it worked.
Yeah.
Like 2 months later, it stopped working, and we were like, "What the hell's wrong with this?" So we went back to the guy we bought it from. We were like, "This dream catcher stopped working. What's the deal?" He goes, "You got to go outside on a full moon and shake it. It's full.
It's full of dreams.
It's full." We went and did it. Sure enough, they stopped again right
That is
afterwards.
so cool.
So I don't know if it's just straight, like it's just straight placebo, but like I mean, we went for
That
it.
is
We
so
believed
cool.
it. It worked for me at the time. Like thanks, guys. Thanks, Shipshawana Market. We appreciate it.
I love that. No,
Yeah.
I've never had a dream catcher, but I had the shittiest dreams when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
I was like, you said something like you would jump to your bed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was because
When
of
you were a kid?
Trilogy of Terror or the Puppet Master. I don't know if
'Cause
anyone remembers the Puppet Master.
There's that
Oh,
like,
Puppet
jump.
Master was scary.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a kid, those stuck with you.
but
Yeah.
you know, there's that zone like within 2-3 feet of your bed that
Where
you can't
some- you know.
like where anything under it
The
could
red
get
zone.
you.
Could
get
so
ya.
you jump over that zone
Yeah.
safely onto your bed.
Yeah, I would always do that.
Was there anything that like was too like that you guys were actually like afraid of that you wouldn't? I mean, I know you mentioned the Piranha laser disc. Like, was there anything that like after you watched it, you were like, nope, not again. I don't want anything to do with that.
like movie wise or object
like
wise?
movie wise? Because for me, it was Exorcist. After the first time I watched
Ugh.
Exorcist, and
Yeah.
especially growing up in like a kind of a staunch Catholic like family for a little bit
Yeah.
there, like that movie was.
I believe it.
especially when it was being shown to you as like this is real.
Yep.
This happens in the world. This is
Yeah, it's-
based off of a true
it's
story.
presented
Benji.
that way.
It's a
Yeah,
good
like,
question.
that movie was terrifying.
Yeah, it
That
definitely
scared the
was.
crap out of me.
I don't know if I said nope like to a movie
Yeah.
though, like that I haven't gone back to, but I don't know what that was. I could have just blocked it
Yeah.
out psychologically
Yeah.
for that chunk of time. I fucking don't know. I think it could have been like Nightmare on Elm Street for sure. Scared the fuck. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want. I've mentioned before. I had like this Royal Rumble of serial killers
Of the killers,
Yeah,
right?
in my
Yeah.
dreams for years.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I had a whole
It's
night terror
tough. I
thing
don't
too.
know.
This is fairly recent, but I would never watch Piranha 3D again
Really?
for a variety of reasons.
That was a blast of a movie.
It seems like a fun
So
movie.
gross. I feel like that's the most
was
okay.
gross.
If a 13-year-old boy goes to watch that movie, that's like the most sexually confusing movie ever because
that it is.
because it's spring break. It's spring. There's a. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, well, spoiler alert.
Go for it.
There's a scene where, like, the piranhas obviously get loose, and they chew through the, there's like a stage on the water because it's spring break or whatever.
Cool.
And they chew through all these cables, and there's, all these girls in bikinis, and one girl's standing there, and then this wire gets loose, this cable, and it shoots into the air, and it just swipes right past her, and then her top gets cut off.
Nice.
So you see boobs. Cool.
Great.
And then her whole torso starts sliding
She
off
starts like
because she just got freaking not like her half her body got decapitated.
Well, let's
whatever
face
that
it.
word is.
When I was a kid,
It's confusing.
a lot of the first time I had seen nudity and things like that were in sexual situations in horror films.
True.
And it was a very mixed emotion type of
Yeah, it's like
experience.
Maybe I shouldn't
can
do
you
that.
like can you
That looks quite dangerous.
Yeah.
well it's like can you say boner because it's like here's a boner. No, just kidding. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
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 I said boner like 3 times.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you could say it.
Boner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
however many times you went. That director was Asia, right? He's who did the Hills Have Eyes remake.
I think
well?
so.
I think so.
And did you guys watch that? I enjoyed that.
The remake?
Out of all the horror remakes and all the remakes we get a lot of nowadays, that one I really enjoyed. I thought the Hills Have Eyes remake was very well done.
Well, I welcome that
slow
one.
burn.
I didn't see it, but I welcome it because I
That one
watched
was
the
fun.
original of recently,
that
and it
was really
doesn't
good.
quite hold up as much as I
Really?
wanted to. Yeah, no knock against Wes Craven, but the
Yeah.
movie is just dated.
Yeah.
It's just an old movie. So that one I could see like revamping. Again, I still think the Dawn of the Dead Zack Snyder movie is like his best
Yeah.
work
That's a good
and
movie.
a really good remake.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Hills of Eyes is cannibals, like hillbilly.
Yeah, they're like inbred cannibals, or maybe not inbred,
Oh,
like
it's
messed up
it's
from the
like
testing,
test
right?
site,
Nuclear
yeah.
testing.
So
is,
they're like
yeah,
mutated,
they're
like
mutated.
little-
They're a little
peoples.
mad at the country for what they've done to them.
Yeah,
That's
and
fair.
rightly so.
Is this like
Exactly.
Appalachian? What is it? Just in the
No,
middle of
it's
nowhere?
Nevada
like
or
Nevada.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
Just-
test sites.
It's just a family, and because the
Some
remake has a
radiation
really,
fallout.
it's like at least a full hour into the movie before anything like terrifying happens.
Really?
But like it does a good job. Like it just keeps teasing you, thinking it's gonna happen, and you're sitting there waiting and waiting
Yeah.
and waiting. But then when shit hits the fan, man, does it
Mm-hmm.
hit the fan, and it's like, and then it's just 100 miles an hour from that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a good one. The score was great. In
Oh.
the remake too. That's what stuck with me.
I thought of
Sound
it.
design was great.
Okay, now this didn't affect me as a teenager, but I went back and watched it and I said nope. And it was the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
That's what I said no
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
'cause- Because as a teenager, I'm like, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by the whole experience. And then I went back and rewatched it as like older, like a couple years ago, and I was watching this movie, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
Like
I'm
what?
good.
Too disturbing?
Yeah,
some
it
of
just
Yeah.
those, some of those
The
movies,
table.
they hold up so well, but in a way where like it feels like you're watching a snuff film. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you came across like footage in an attic that somebody had hidden away.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic, the way it looks, the pops and the cracks,
Yep.
it's so dirty. The film itself looks dirty, and you
It's
just
raw.
feel, before anything bad happens, you already feel like you're watching something you're not supposed
Yeah.
you
to.
haven't
exactly.
seen these actors like since, in a way, like before or since.
Yep.
So that gives it that
Yeah.
real like this is a person. Like,
Yeah.
and of course that title scroll sets you up for everything. It's like this movie is like,
Yeah.
And so again, I know that it's still a friggin' movie, but
Yeah,
man,
it's
it just
disturbing.
You're right. That's a good call.
it hit me as an adult more than it did as a kid.
Yeah.
'Cause as a kid, I know how to distinguish the two. As I got older, I guess you could say I stopped. I was like, this just feels really fucked up. and
Yeah,
really
I mean, almost similar. Not exactly the same type of horror movie, but it's definitely horror. But after you guys had the Wes Craven podcast recently, I went back and tried to check out The Last House on the Left.
Yeah.
you
After we
didn't.
talked about it so much,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I got to at least give this a go.
Give it a go.
Man, I felt like I was sinning. I felt
Yeah,
wrong.
it's like an
Yeah.
exploitation. It's so, it
I
feels
felt-
exploitative.
Yeah, I was like, I just
it's
feel
an
like I shouldn't
exploitation.
be a part of this. Like this is
Right.
it all felt wrong. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like not that the movie was bad or not good. I was like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is so bad. And it was like that's one of the few times like good for them. You know, like it
Yeah,
worked.
it makes you feel that
Right.
sick
I
about
was
it.
like, dude, you made me like, holy crap. Oh, I was like,
I mean,
oh my god,
yeah.
somebody help! This is awful.
Yeah,
Well,
someone step in.
I remember seeing this Japanese director. Unfortunately, I don't remember which one right now. Had this great quote where he's like, if I'm gonna show violence in my movies, I want it to feel bad because violence you should.
Yeah.
Violence is a negative thing. You should
Yeah.
view it as something that
That's a good point.
doesn't make you feel great. I mean, there's a justification to like action movies and stuff like that because it's cathartic for another reason.
Yeah.
And there's artistry to it. But I can respect that as a filmmaker, and I feel like House on the Left does a very similar thing. Where it's like what you're saying should not be glorified. I mean, it is just truly
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
And it's
you feel that
before
way.
that. It is still a film. Let's
Yeah,
not be wrong.
definitely.
It's not like a found footage. Like it feels real, but it's a film that That's what I don't understand is that how can it still feel like you're watching like a documentary yet it's still just crafted cinema. I don't understand that. And so another thing is gosh, what was it? Oh fuck it! Let's just can you swear on this thing?
Yeah,
I forget. Yeah,
say whatever you want.
But
Fuck it.
I've been swearing left or right. So now I
Now
ask.
you're all self-conscious because
Yeah.
I was asked about boner.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That could be it.
Maybe.
for all I know. Well, okay. Since I don't know what I was going to say, I will say that I did take a date to see Contagion. and that is
God,
Why
not a
would
date
you do
movie.
that?
Well, I mean,
Not
we
a
were,
date movie.
No, we didn't
Well,
touch
no,
the
all
rest of the.
No, you're like, I don't know.
We
you know?
didn't kiss. It was like an awful
last thing
date. It was the worst
No,
date
I
I've
can,
ever
I
been
can see
on.
why that would be a good idea though, because like when you take dates to horror movies, it like you build a connection to each other.
Yeah.
And there's anticipation and stuff like that. You're just it totally makes sense.
Contagion
Just
was
not
like
that movie.
utter
Contagion
divide.
did the opposite. Contagion's like, you don't want anything to do with another human.
Yeah,
You don't-
especially
yeah.
like fluid swapping,
Yeah.
like saliva or
Yeah. Okay. We don't
anything
have
else.
to get into it.
I mean, but we were thinking it. Like
Yeah.
it's like I'm not gonna touch you.
Now, one of the things that I feel like is a huge problem with horror nowadays. I mean, there hasn't been anything like there's Conjuring and Sinister, a couple things that have like done decently well. I guess your Paranormal Activities. I thought the original Paranormal Activity was pretty rad, actually. But like, I feel like cell phones have been a huge detriment to horror.
That's such a good point.
Do you have any ideas? Do you know where we can? Because I know now their horror is starting to become more period pieces.
Yeah, The
is the way to
Witch.
get around
Yeah,
it.
Like The Witch.
I want to
Yeah.
see that so bad.
Like how do we get? I mean, like you got Unfriended and things like that that'll go after the idea of technology. Like how do we feel unsafe again? Like it's because it's too easy to say there's no cell service, but then it's like, well, we can't just. Nobody has a cell phone. It's unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
what?
It is weird. You
That's a
have to
hard-
justify it every time. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure that's a challenge that some filmmaker is gonna take on and be like,
There's once that happens, it's gonna be. I can't wait for whatever it is that figures that out.
Well, we had like John Sam and I are writing a horror movie right now, and we just said, "Screw it. This is set in the '70s. We don't want to even have to address cell phones.
Right. Just don't even
I
deal with it.
don't even
then.
want to see a person go like, darn.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
yeah,
the service.
exactly.
I mean, like, yeah, because I mean, like, Halloween Resurrection always comes to mind because it was right at Web 2.0, like that starting to hit, and it's like the whole movie takes place like watching a webcam, and they're trying to make it.
I swear.
It's just, I feel like that just
I feel like if someone wanted to do like a cabin in the woods thingy where you play into that and then flip it on its head in a really, really fun, amusing
that's
way.
what I'm waiting
It's tough.
for.
I mean,
I
I feel like going meta on it though, or self-aware is also not what's gonna re-scare me.
No,
in a
it's
way.
certainly true.
So it's like it's a double-edged sword there, because again, you could flip it on its head, but then you're also acknowledging the self-awareness. I feel like doesn't make it scary.
Yeah.
Because you're aware. It's such a dilemma.
tough
It
now.
sucks. Yeah. You have to explain it somehow. If you're gonna do a contemporary movie in the time of cell phones, you have to explain it. And I would include the internet on this too.
Right.
I guess because it's just like you have to come up with a reason
I
for why
remember-
this is in and out.
I remember that scene in What Lies Beneath now. Out of all movies, that just
Yeah,
popped
that's
into
a
my
random
head.
one.
But they say early on, like as they're crossing the bridge, like, oh, you don't get service until like halfway through the bridge. And so of
Simple
course
enough,
that plays into the climax of that movie where she's trying to call for help, but she's just getting to the bridge and it won't connect until she's like halfway across. So they like made it like in your like realm of the world that they live in, they won't receive service until a certain point.
I mean, easily enough, it just clicked on me. I feel like the easiest way to get around that is, can we just play on how shitty Time Warner is?
Yeah.
AT&T, like,
fuck, I don't have any service again.
I feel like that's not too far fetched to just like. There's a scene where some dude's complaining about the shitty router he has to use and the shitty service.
Yeah.
He's always getting from Time Warner. What am I paying for?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and it just simply enough, the phone doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because that's how frickin' internet works sometimes.
Yeah.
Your Time Warner goes down.
Yeah.
When you frickin' need it.
It's totally true though. Like if you go camping, it's like, I mean, you go camping nowadays and you don't have service. It's just like that's still the way the world works, you know.
I mean,
That's not
maybe
that
that's
shitty.
just the next horror movie. Is just friggin' a dude stuck in a situation
Trying to pay his
just
bill?
trying to get
Yeah,
service.
I'm just trying to get my paperless billing account to work.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on. That's it, and that's scary.
Is there to wrap it up? We're almost done here. Is there anything? I know we already touched on The Witch, but is there anything you guys are looking forward to horror-wise this Halloween that you haven't yet peeped? If you haven't checked it out, old movie, new movie, anything it's like you always do it every Halloween, every year. There's something you got to get in before the
Well,
festivities have ended?
I'm doing the rounds. I'm doing all my catch up. Just watch that movie for old time's sake.
Yeah.
I did The Exorcist the other night. I'm gonna do something else tonight. Blah blah blah. And I would say, looking forward, I The Witch comes out in February, which can't come soon enough.
It can't come soon enough.
And
aren't you a little nervous about if it's I really want to see it, but I'm nervous that it's gonna be like gross.
Yeah.
Like, gross stuff is gonna.
Yeah,
happen.
I hear it's gonna just
I
change
hope so.
your life.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be that movie that gave me nightmares. I went home and had nightmares after I saw The Conjuring. That was a creepy movie.
Yeah.
I friggin' saw that in theaters and it messed me up. I definitely had a nightmare or two after that, which was nice. It's like I haven't had a nightmare in forever.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I had
weird.
one. Hey, you did it. I'm looking forward to. I wouldn't even say they're horror movies. I'm just really looking forward to The Revenant.
The Revenant. Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very suspenseful, like oh shit type of oh fuck movie where it's just I hope it has like some insane tension and chases and whatever and it's a period film. I think it's gonna be a blast. I heard it was a nightmare to make because it looks like it was cold as crap and under harsh conditions. And obviously Tarantino's film. The Hateful Eight, I really want to see. I want to see just a nice ensemble scene.
Not the Ridiculous Six?
Yeah, the Ridiculous
More pumped for
Six?
Hateful Eight? Really?
Yeah,
Who
more
would've
pumped
thunk
for
it?
Hateful Eight than the Ridiculous Six.
Surprising.
Yeah, but Tarantino has a nice blend. I feel like he could draw out some nice suspenseful tension.
He knows what he's doing.
moments,
He
and
kind of
knows.
has an idea what he's doing.
It sounds like from what people have said, Kurt Russell was on the radio talking the other day, Tarantino's
Dreamboat.
only
Sorry.
at the height of his craft.
Yeah.
Like he's only
believe
just
it.
gotten better.
No, he's consistent. Yeah, I would say he's consistently gotten better over time.
yeah.
Like
And
I
I
have
can't-
problems with a lot of his earlier movies.
Absolutely.
I don't know what I'm excited for. I'm excited for winning the RocketJump costume contest.
We do. We have a
on
RocketJump
Friday.
costume contest this
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, it's
Still
really
gotta figure something out.
really a contest for second place because I got it in
That's
the
what
bag.
we've all been hearing. You've been popping off since Monday morning.
Yep.
No,
I'm,
bringing home a title.
Since we started film school like last year, she's like, I'm gonna get this costume. But not necessarily for Halloween. You just wanted the costume just to wear.
I did want just.
Like-
I just
like
wanted
on
the
a
costume.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Well,
I
once
have
you see
nothing.
it, you'll know why.
I have
once you
I've
see
got
it.
nothing either. I don't know what. I'm just gonna go down to Halloween Town and get a blonde wig.
Yeah.
So I can just Ric Flair it with the robe I got
Just
hanging
go as
next
Ben.
to the desk.
Oh yeah, you
Go
could
as
do
Waller.
it.
I'm just gonna do.
Dude,
yeah.
go as Ben
Yeah,
Waller.
I'll go as Jamie.
Oh my God, you guys should do it.
We'll
You
just
should.
go as each other
Get
from
a
the
blonde
office.
wig, like a denim
A
button
real-
shirt.
A real
Yeah.
mane. Yeah, and then pants.
Just bun it in the back.
Yeah.
Ponytail it.
I think that'd be fun. I mean, as
Up
long
and
as it's
down
done
throughout the day.
tastefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't do it
sometimes
in a
it's up,
mean way.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's in a bun.
Yeah.
Who knows? And you could be Jamie. Jamie's really easy to be.
Oh, get you a bolo tie.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
Just a little button
Jamie
up.
doesn't wear bolo ties. Sorry, Jamie. But I
He
always
seems
give
like
him- I always
if he
tell him
wants to class it up, like
He
if it's a
could.
special occasion,
He
he's
could.
got the ball.
All you have to do is wear a button down and snap.
That was his special skill.
that. Yeah, he's a snapper.
Are you
Yeah.
excited for anything, Benji?
I'm excited for The Witch. I really am.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I think that movie looks really rad.
Mm-hmm.
The Witch looks great. I mean, this has nothing to do with horror, but I had a huge outburst at the office last week. I got so excited thinking that there was a new Harry Potter book coming out. Only
You
to
did.
be only to be told it was just a frickin' play,
Well, you
and then the
busted
play's in friggin' England.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's. I don't want anything. I can't.
It's
What
a
am I
two,
gonna?
it's a two-part play too. You know, it's only the first half.
Like, as long as someone takes it and turns it into a book, I can then act like it's book 8. Then I'll be happy. But I'm a huge Potter nerd.
A book
so
adapted by the play, like the
Yeah.
only time.
It's just whatever.
Benji really burst into the bullpen.
I did. I started talking crap about Gilmore Girls. Like, that's how
Yeah,
excited I was.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
started talking
Unnecessary.
Crap. I just started talking crap about other things that were announced recently. I was like, screw that announcement.
Yeah,
You want to hear a
screw
real
that.
announcement?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay. And I told them, they're like, that's not real. There's
Yeah.
no book. I was like, fudge. It's like, sorry, all of you and Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I wasted 5 minutes and just talked crap about a beloved show of all of yours.
That's a blast.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
okay.
excited about that.
Evil
I am.
Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Ash
Oh my
vs.
God!
Evil Dead,
How
you're
can we
right.
not
Yeah.
say
That starts this
like,
weekend.
Evil
That's your
Dead 2 is like if
That's
I give
your
it
fault.
that much love, I gotta say.
Got your Slack today?
Yeah.
Or was
Yeah,
it an email?
yesterday.
Was
It was
or-
a Slack.
It was a Slack.
It was a Slack.
The first
Slack
4
job.
minutes were released online.
Yeah.
Doesn't give anything away. It just really just sets you up for Ash's back.
Can't wait to head back to the S Smart,
Yeah.
Just do some
I think
shopping.
I don't think it's an S Smart
It's
anymore.
not?
I don't know if who
Oh,
owns
man.
S Smart,
Hey,
but
man,
it's definitely not
times
S Smart.
Did you ever play any of the
It's
Ash
like
games
Value
when they
Mart.
came out?
Oh
on the
hell yeah!
Xbox?
I played Fistful of
Right.
not Fistful of
Fistful of Boomstick, right? Or something
Boomstick.
like
It
that?
is Fistful of
Yeah.
Is it
Boomstick.
really?
I
think
did
so,
play
yeah.
that. Yeah, I played the crap
Yeah,
out of that. I
dude,
beat
that
it
was
in one
fun.
night because I just didn't set it down.
Yep.
I just stayed up till
Played
the sun.
that one too.
Oh my
Till the
God.
sun.
That was
Yeah.
a fun one.
Damn.
I didn't beat Evil Dead Resurrection, where he has the little helper buddy.
Oh, okay.
That one was tough. I got stuck.
Dude, I love games where you have a helper. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I'll play that.
He was like, Ash, what do you think's going on over there? You know, he's like basically
you gotta check under the car. I think. Thank you.
I think there's a clue.
That's invented for gamers like me.
Yeah.
Dude, we were playing something on Monday. I spent
Soma.
I spent 20 minutes in one
Benji
room
was
just
having a
looking for
hard time.
That game made me sick. I got sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
you
had
were
to walk
saying,
away.
you were-
Give me like
yeah.
motion sickness.
Yeah, well, when you touched like this like alien butt or whatever, it was like
Yeah, it was
a little
weird.
rough.
Whatever.
And I was just talking to Freddie. I was like, man, I wish they redid GoldenEye because I tried going back and replaying it, but I couldn't play it for more than like 10 minutes because you're more resilient when that stuff comes out as a kid.
Yeah,
Nowadays, everything's so smooth, but you go back and watch GoldenEye, you're running up and down like this.
Yep.
And I wish they just like would go back over it like they did with like Halo or something, where they go over a game and make it playable
Didn't they do
again.
that? Didn't they do that with GoldenEye?
They were talking about it, and Freddie said it fell through.
Oh.
So, because that's a good movie.
We gotta play PT by
And
the
a good
way
game.
on the stream.
Yeah.
PT?
Gotta play PT. That's the scariest.
Eli's
thing
gonna
ever.
lead
That's
us through the rump.
No, that's Destiny.
Oh shit.
That's happening separately. Maybe.
Okay, I'm not invited to PT.
We're gonna do it all.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks guys for stopping by. We appreciate it. Check out the film school. Go watch Masterclass. The Office Hours podcast has Brian Collins of Horror Movie a Day talking about Wes Craven. You guys break it down, all of his filmography. Really good chat. We miss Wes. I think that's clear to say. Happy Halloween. Cherish, good luck at the costume contest this Friday.
Don't need it.
Everyone check back on the socials. We will be announcing the winner of this year's costume contest on Friday. It may or may not be Cherish.
Okay, really.
Hopefully, for her sake, it is. She seems to be putting all her eggs in that basket. I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, we don't have much to go on.
I got nothing.
We don't have a horse in
dress
the
up
race.
Like Jamie.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, just two different versions of Jamie. Like I'll be workout Jamie,
and you're office Jamie.
And you be office Jamie. I'll put some knee sleeves on, cut off tee, some mesh shorts. Oh, that's easy. I
Only if
totally
we could start a
Jamie.
conspiracy where everyone goes as Jamie, and then Jamie loses the contest.
Or everyone dresses as Jamie, and Jamie doesn't dress up, and we give the contest to Jamie because he is the best Jamie.
Oh my god.
That'll be the day. And sorry, Cherish.
No, I'm upset about this because it's affecting my plan.
Against you.
No, it's fine. I don't need you guys conspire all you want.
Win.
You're gonna see it and you're gonna just be like,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We'll take
Can't wait.
pictures.
Apparently, it's been years in the making, so it better not disappoint.
Yeah.
Lofty expectations now for this costume.
I think she tried to buy it at one point, and they were like, "What? No,
This is something
So
one
very-
cannot buy.
yeah, you can't buy this."
I just could never afford it. That's your first clue.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, there's that one. We'll see you guys next week.
Did it.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Meow.